Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Goeiemôre, dames en here. Molweni nonke. We are getting ready to start in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm asking anybody outside just to move in closer as we are getting ready to proceed. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for being here so early. Clearly, the weather did nothing to scare our mood, and we are very delighted to have you this morning. In the next few minutes, we're about to start our program. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, weer eens goeiemôre, molweni kwakhona. My name is Lennox Plaatjes. I have the privilege this morning of directing our program. I would like to please appeal on all our attendees this morning. All cell phones, if possible, on silent. We are also recording and streaming live our meeting for today. This is a very special meeting on the annual calendar for Witzenberg Pels. And we are really looking forward to having a great interaction with our speakers as well as our attendees this morning. To start our program, however, I just briefly need to make an apology. Our guest speaker will arrive slightly after time due to weather conditions between Cape Town and the Boland. He's still safe on the road. He will be joining us in the next few minutes. But we are starting our program effectively immediately. To start off this morning, I am delighted to call on friend and teacher of our community, somebody who's passionate about music, passionate about young people, a maths teacher, who will lead us in singing our opening prayer. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Claude Pretorius.
Dat elke aardse vreugde en vrees weer nietig word vir my. Elke afdraaipaadjie ken ek, elke keer het ek verdwaal. Elke keer het U my iewers kom haal. Maak dit hier die laaste maal. Elke dag is 'n gedagte. Elke kamer net gehuur. Elke hart se droom van rykdom en roem, net 'n skadu teen die muur. Wat ek is net genade. Wat ek het is net geleer. Eindelijk smag ek na die waters van rus. Lei my hier vanaand daarheen. Wat ek is net genade. Wat ek het is net geleen. Eindelijk smag ek na die waters van rus. Lei my hier vanaand daarheen. Lei my hier vanaand daarheen.
Baie dankie, Claude. Thank you, Claude. Ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, we would like to take a half a minute of self-devotion and basically just a half a moment of silence. Thank you. My role this morning as program director is to lead us through this program. And I have the pleasure of welcoming our guest this morning. I would like to please observe all protocols. This morning it is my pleasure to welcome our Executive Mayor of Witzenberg Municipality, Alderman Henny Smith, our Speaker, Councillor Mary Sadigo, and councillors of the Witzenberg Council present here this morning. We will do an official welcoming of our guest speaker upon arrival, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman. We have also tuned in, and this meeting of this morning, ladies and gentlemen, is being streamed live via our YouTube link, and therefore I am also speaking to our our sponsors, Human Development sponsor AECI, represented by Ms. Pinda Ntaba and Ms. Nicole Suleiman, who are following our meeting virtually this morning. In our midst today, welcoming them warmly also our corporate sponsors, FNB, and also those who are joining us virtually. We have Arno as well as Charlie Bretzke this morning. Thank you very much. Also acknowledging FNB as our event sponsor for today. Today present here, let me also welcome the management of CBI, NAS, being present this morning, representing organized business in our area. I'm informed of officials of the Department of Rural Development who've confirmed the attendance and those who are joining us virtually, as well as also members from the Department of Agriculture, Western Cape. We will be joined later on virtually by Mr. Anton Raber and his team from Hodgrow. We would like to extend a word of welcome to them. We're going to have a presentation also later this morning where we're going to hear about some alternative energy plans in this area, seeing that we are severely challenged in terms of sustainable energy. And I therefore want to welcome Mr. Rian Swiegers, who is from SPV this morning. To the PELS board, all the boards of PELS in the various regions of Mpumalanga and Free State who are joining us virtually this morning, thank you for making the time. Thank you for also sharing with us this great moment of having this meeting. A special word of welcome to the South African PELS Board of Directors. Some of those members who are here present today, others who are joining us virtually, most welcome. To the host of this meeting, the Witzenberg PELS Board, whose board members are present here this morning, and those who have made apologies and are joining us virtually, would like to also welcome you and thank you for your leadership that has brought us this far. Our resilient PELS producer members, the people without whom we would not have started this initiative, the people who have launched this idea, came together in 2014 and say that we need to change and integrate agriculture and make it more inclusive. Those are our PELS producers and their business partners who are joining us this morning, and those spouses that we've seen who have made the time to come and be with us. Family members present, thank you very much and most welcome. We have strategic members who are joining PELS via our YouTube link, and we'd really like to appreciate them tuning in and having sustained and supported our initiative since inception in 2015. From members of our community members from our surrounding communities of Witzenberg, who saw the advert and who eagerly wanted to be here this morning from all walks of life, thank you very much. A special word of welcome goes to our Nduli pig farmers who are here this morning, and we are indeed delighted to have them here, and they will also at some point in our program make a small contribution. To our leaders of faith, pastors present, also members from education whom we've invited and who made their way to come here today, thank you very much. From people who are supporting this initiative from various angles and angles of our community, thank you very much, and most welcome from being here. Then we'd also like to all our members, all members of PELS, we would like to please this morning extend a very warm word of welcome. We know Skalk Viljoen is here, having come all the way from the Riviers on the end, from the outskirts of the province to be with us. And this has been a consistent feature of Skalk in Swellendam coming here, and we really want to appreciate and most welcome you here this morning. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who might have traveled this journey with us over the past few years, you would have realized, except for advents of COVID, what we've had consistent annual meetings of Witzenberg PELS. And these meetings are held annually in terms of the Memorandum of Incorporation of the Witzenberg PELS non-profit company. And the purpose of these meetings are to inform our members, our strategic supporters, and our communities at large, to inform them about the achievements of set milestones, to highlight certain successes, as well as to reflect on the challenges we're experiencing implementing the PELS initiative. We want to use this opportunity to communicate with our community about stories of successful new era farmers, to inform you of exciting community projects, as well as other breakthroughs achieved on a higher level. but we do so also to draw inspiration from great South Africans who live amongst us, whose lives are a true inspiration. And I believe that today's program will once again aim to achieve just that. To briefly take you to our program this morning, we're going to have a very short program, ladies and gentlemen, but highly packed. We will have an annual address by our chairperson of the Witzenberg Pels board. We will receive a brief audit report from the Witzenberg Pels auditors reflecting on the performance of the non-profit company. We will have testimonies this morning from community farmers who've joined the Pels fold, and they will reflect on their experience this morning of having Pels on board. We will also have an introduction and perhaps an input on plans for solar and pump storage, solar energy and pump storage in our area, as I've highlighted earlier, addressing the critical need of a shortage of sustainable electricity. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking forward to, I believe, what's going to be an inspiring address by our keynote speaker, Dr. Suleiman, from the Gift of the Givers, who will join us in a while. Allow me, please, without wasting any further time, to invite to the podium the chairperson of the Witzenberg Pels board, Mr. Heinrich Jantjies. Let's give him a hand, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, dames en here, it's a wonderlike voorreg om vanmôre saam met julle te wees, to present this Pels report on the 7th annual meeting of its members. Pels se vorige voorsitters, Pieter de Tooy, Raymond Koopstad en Lien Versage het ons organisasie met onderskeiding gelei. Ek het dus groot skoene om vol te staan vanmôre. In 2014 het Witzenberg Partnership ontstaan. And in 2015, Witzenberg Pels was registered as a NPC. Since then, the Pels initiative proved that land reform and agri-development can be implemented in a manner that supports economic growth, job creation, and social harmony. It is with gratitude that we look back over the past years. Pels is continuing to lead the efforts to build an inclusive economy. The journey of Pels over the last years is similar to the words of late President Nelson Mandela, and I quote, "I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way, but I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds another hill to climb. I have taken a moment to rest, to steal the view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come, but I can only rest for a moment." Wat begin het as 'n droom in 2014 in Ceres, het gegroei tot landwyse Pels-inisiatief met uitbreiding nie net in die Wes-Kaap nie, maar ook na ander streke en provinsies soos die Vrystaat en Mpumalanga en projekte ook gelys in ander provinsies. As Pels, we have climbed the great hill. We have achieved some success in a short period of time, but we are well aware that there are many more hills to climb. We have the responsibility to share the Pels winning formula with a wider group in our own area and the rest of our country. We also need to move faster and work a lot harder. We must ensure that the proven Pels framework of establishing sustainable agri-businesses on solid business and legal foundations is endorsed by all role players as preferred and accepted framework to stimulate inclusive agri-growth. Opleiding is natuurlijk een van die hoekstene van die sukses waarop Pels gebou is. Meer as 600 mense het al reeds die voordeel van opleiding ontvang sedert 2015. In ag genome die impak van COVID-19 die afgelope jaar, was daar nog steeds opleiding verskaf aan 180 individue. Die 4 opleidingsmodules sluit in direkteur- en aandeelhoueropleiding, besigheidsopleiding, leierskapsopleiding, sowel as mentorskap en kapasiteitsbou. Community projects with the youth and community farmers involved outreach programs with Nduli High School and training to shareholders of Nduli pig farming. As an organization, We are grateful for the continuous support of the AECI. We have received funding by the AECI from 2015. This support has enabled Pulse to make huge inroads in the training and development of black beneficiary farmers in land reform projects, as well as training community-based black farmers to be more successful in their agri-enterprises. This morning, I want to give special recognition to the AECI and say thank you for the continuous support over the years, as well as their commitment to support us for another 3 years. The continued support to Pulse by the AECI will ensure that the objective of establishing successful black commercial farmers is realized, as this can only be achieved through continuous investment in human capital. Pulse received coverage in television programs throughout the year, such as African Farming and Landbou Weekliks. Articles were published in the Burger, the Beeld, Landbou Weekblad, and other printed media, and also provided some perspective on Pulse activities. In this regard, we are very proud of our quarterly newsletter, Perspective Inside Pulse, which is distributed electronically to a wider audience and posted on social media. Our Perspective editor, Gerrit Rautenbach, is one of our very valuable experts who is instrumental in spreading the Pulse message of hope and inspiration. During NAMPU 2020 in Botawil, a Pulse delegation of all the 3 regions engaged in various agricultural leaders and participated in interviews with the RSG radio station, SABC, Nasie in Gesprek, and Agri Extra. Agricultural Minister Toke de Diza, in a budget speech on 12 May this year, once again singled out Pulse. She said that partnerships are the most important factor for the sustainable future of agriculture in South Africa. In her own words, initiatives like Pulse, where emerging farmers and commercial farmers are forming partnerships, is showing fruit in addressing binding constraints. Dit bly egter 'n uitdaging ook om Pulse se boodskap uit te dra in verskillende tale en gemeenskappe, en op die huidige oomblik word daar tans aan 'n gepaste strategie gewerk om dit aan te spreek. Over the last year, Pulse have engaged with government departments on national, provincial and a local level. Pulse se skakeling met die nasionale minister van Landbou by verskillende geleenthede, samewerking met die amptenare, provinsiale departemente van landbou en grondsake, sowel as waterwese en ander regeringsinstansies, bly uiters belangrik om die verkryging van instaatstellers soos waterlisensies, befondsing, erkenning en dies meer te probeer bespoedig en te vergemaklik. Talle besoekers van oor die land het Witzenberg Pulse projekte en Pulse sentrum besoek in hul strewe na oplossings en samewerking om 'n meer volhoubare, inklusiewe landbousektor te help bou en inligting te verkry oor die Pulse strategie. Since the establishment of Maluti Farming Pulse and Mpumalanga Pulse in 2021, the need also arose to establish SA Pulse NPC. The board of SA Pulse consists of representatives of each region and also an independent director, Ms. Joanne Isaacs. SA Pulse coordinates all activities between the different regions and act as a national body for engagement with government, national funders, and activities to the benefit of all regions. The boards of SA Pulse, Maluti Pulse, Mpumalanga Pulse, and Witzenberg Pulse are meeting on the 3rd and the 4th of October at Kaleo in Ikowa Bokkeveld for a strategic planning session. This strategic alignment and joint planning of Pulse regions will assist in road mapping the initiative's role for the next few years to come. As we heard this morning, electricity and alternative energy remains a concern within our country. Witzenberg Pulse is a social compact for an innovative solution for alternative energy in this area. Mr. Rian Sugers will update us later this morning about the progress with the planned Gaidu Solar and Pump Storage project. One of the biggest challenges for Witzenberg Pulse remains funding. both for building the necessary capacity in the PAL centers and for implementing new enterprises. Witzenberg PALs are grateful for our loyal members who, together with the donations of AECI and FNB, funded our activities up till now. We are hopeful that our Jobs Fund application will assist with funding of activities and appointing the necessary key people in 2023. In this regard, we are very grateful to Outgrow for their assistance to prove the necessary own contribution for our Jobs Fund application. FNB also assisted us in co-funding some of the costs for the meeting here today. PALS have engaged with government and was a positive participant in the new blended finance scheme by the DALRD. The PALS slogan, which you can see on our screens, Growing Together, was used by the DALRD, and the IDC launched the Blended Finance Fund. Several projects applied for funding, but progress is still frustratingly very slow. The practical issue will now be to prioritize all the future engagements with the DALRD. We also hope that further engagements with the national organizations and commercial banks will lead to funding for SAPLs on a scale that it is sufficient to capacitate PALs nationally and to the benefit of all our regions. As they say, watch the space. Die PALs besighede in onze area het ongelukkig onder die ongelooflike negatiewe atmosfeer in ons land gelei dat een van PALs se groot uitdagings tans is om geluiste projekte deur al 3 fases van beplanning, motivering en instaatstellers tot by suksesvolle implementering deur te voer. Probleme ten opsigte van voldoende elektrisiteit, onvoldoende befondsingsmodelle en vertragings daarmee, as ook gebrekkige dienslewering, veg innoverende oplossings en deursettingsvermoë. Projekte soos hier Stierberg boerdery, Rockbell Ridge, Van der Merwe en Mpo en ander is al reeds geïmplementeer ten opsigte van grondoordragte en gedeeltelike aanplantings of aktiwiteite. En volgende fase sluit in die verdere ontwikkeling en verdere aanplantings van daardie besighede. In die volgende jaar word daar ook 'n aantal nuwe waardekettingsprojekte en boerderyprojekte met appels, pere, kersies en groente in die Witzenberg area geprioritiseer. The PALS Center, which is unique to land reform and in South Africa, and after the previous drought we experienced a few years ago, have outsourced most of the activities to our legal and strategic advisors from Hubert and Van Vieren. With the new funding from the Jobs Fund, we hope to appoint key employees in the next few months, which will include admin assistants, agri-economist interns, and project coordinators. Lennox Plaatjes is already assisting as the liaison manager in the PALS Center. Onze direksie het hierdie jaar 7 keer ontmoet en die dagbestuur het gereeld by die PALS kantoor dringende sake hanteer. Ek bedank graag die direksielede vir hulle diens van môre. Hulle was Henny de Tooy, ons ondervoorsitter, Raymond Koopstad, Lennox Plaatjes, Nicholas Dicey, François Malan, Janine van Rooi, Daniel de Tooy, Lien Versage, Gerrit van der Merwe en Hein Juris. My dank aan die direksielede en veral aan Janine van Rooi en Lennox Plaatjes wat na jare se diens nou uittreë. Lisa Ambraal en Wimpie Polse is as die nuwe direkteure verkies in Janine en Lennox se plek by wyse van 'n skriftelike stemming deur ons lede. Ons bedank die lede vir hulle samewerking in hierdie verband en ons wens vir Lisa en vir Wimpie geluk en voorspoed toe. Pieter de Tooy en Heinrich Jantjies. Pieter de Tooy en Heinrich Jantjies verteenwoordig huidiglik Witzenberg PALS op die direksie van SA PALS. Ek sluit af met die hernieuwde besef van landbou se belang as sektor tydens COVID-19 krisis die afgelope 2 jaar en die noodsaaklikheid van inklusiewe ekonomiese groei. Dit maak PALS se rol in die toekoms nog meer belangrik. Vir ons toekoms is dit belangrik om voort te gaan om die PALS raamwerk se praktiese inklusiewe landbouontwikkelings en grondhervormingspraktyk verder uit te bou. Ek nooi u uit om elkeen in die eie kring 'n verskil te maak en nie te wag vir ander nie. Ons moet hande vat met ons kerke, ons skole, ons gemeenskappe en ander rolspelers in ons gemeenskap en nie toelaat dat negatiewe aktiviste dit wat ons saam kan opbou probeer afbreek nie. To date, Witzenberg Pulse have been relatively successful with our involvement with 43 farming enterprises with substantial black shareholding in assistance to 2 community projects. Pulse Enterprises resulted in 180 farm workers as direct co-owners and shareholder beneficiaries, with 2,085 permanent farm workers benefiting through employee trust in Pulse Enterprises. New employment created by Pulse Enterprises in the development of farms was calculated as 3,200 jobs until date. This is without the upstream and the downstream economy our employment opportunities have created. Met bogenoemde sukses kry ons as Pulse nog steeds nie die erkenning en nodige ondersteuning van ons regeringsinstansies nie. Wat Pulse se suksesse regverdig nie, maar daar is nog steeds te veel fragmentering. Ons het egter al geleer dat sukses nie maklik kom nie. Ons sal voortgaan met deursettingsvermoë, dag vir dag te werk om die enigste alternatief vir 'n volhoubare, inklusiewe landbougemeenskap en 'n groter Suid-Afrikaanse gemeenskap. President Cyril Ramaphosa het in sy weeklikse nuusbrief op 6 Junie 2020 die volgende gemeld. Through the proactive land acquisition strategy and the release of state-owned land for agriculture, we are supporting more small-scale farmers to expand their businesses and make them commercially successful. We are also focusing on establishing more public-private partnerships to support the expansion of black commercial farming through initiatives like the Partners in Agri-Land Solutions in Ceres. Pulse must now continue building on the success they have achieved this far. Our limited resources cannot be depleted by doing extended campaigns of convincing people, but should rather go to practically making our environment a happier and a better world for all of us. We have climbed a great hill. We have still a view of the glorious vista that surrounds us this morning. We have looked at the distance we have come, but the Pulse journey have not ended. It's time to climb the next hill. Ek dank u.
Can we give another hand to Mr. Jantjies, please? Honor and a privilege to serve with you on the board, and so I do believe I also speak on behalf of Janine, who have unfortunately through other commitments not have been here today. Thank you. Can we again please give a warm hand to our chairperson? Now, in case you might not know, there's a strategy behind the second clap. The chairperson announced Lennox 38. It only means I'm leaving the board. He is becoming my boss. So it simply means the more you clap, the more my package. Can we just clap again for the chairperson? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are proceeding with our program, and we will now call to the podium on behalf of Fourie Oberg and the Brain Auditors to give us a brief overview of the audit report. Mr. David John Groenewald, please, let's welcome him. It's a long journey to the stage. Let's keep the welcome.
Goeiemôre. Dit is my voorreg om die finansiële state van Witzenberg Pulse vir die jaar geëinde 28 Februarie 2022 voor te hou. FODB het 'n onafhanklike oorsigverslag voorgelê en uitgevoer op die finansiële state van Witzenberg Pulse vir die jaar geëinde 28 Februarie 2022. Ons het 'n ongekwalifiseerde oorsig verslag en gevolgtrekking uitgespreek. Dit beteken 'n skoon oorsigverslag. As ons gaan kyk na die inkomstestaat vir die jaar, die inkomste vir die jaar het afgeneem van 1.7 miljoen na 1.5 miljoen. Dit is grootliks as gevolg van die ledegelde wat afgeneem het, as gevolg van 'n vooruit ontvange inkomste gedeelte wat in 2021 herken was, wat nie in 2022 die geval was nie. Die donasies het effens toegeneem, ook as gevolg van 'n vooruit ontvange gedeelte en 'n oorvleuel van inkomste oor die 2 jare. Ander inkomste bestaan slegs uit voorsiening vir oninbare skulde en 'n klein verkoop van bates. Die kostes vir die jaar het toegeneem van 1.1 na 1.7 miljoen. Dis as gevolg van COVID, waar kostes oorvleuel het oor die 2 jare, waar kostes in 2021 nie kon uitvoer nie, maar in 2022 wel uitgevoer was, wat insluit opleiding. Dit gee 'n wins van die jaar vir 2021 van 632.000, wat 'n verlies van 169.000 vir 2022 teweegbring. As die 2 jare saam beoordeel word, dui dit op 'n wins van 463.000 rand oor die 2 jare. As ons kyk na die balansstaat, die bates het afgeneem van 1.3 miljoen na 840.000 oor die 2 jare. Dis ook as gevolg van die kostes wat oorgestaan het van 2021 na 2022 en die bates sluit dan eiendom, aandele en toerusting, debiteure wat nog nie op jaareinde betaal het nie en bank ook in wat dan die grootste afname aandui van 1.2 na 800.000. Die laste op jaareinde was slegs krediteure wat op jaareinde nog nie betaal het nie, wat afgeneem het van 455.000 na 115.000. Die groot afname daar is ook die vooruit ontvange inkomste wat nie die jaar herken was nie. Dit dui dan op positiewe ekwiteit van 726.000 vir die jaar, wat aandui dat die maatskappy positiewe ekwiteit het. Ja, baie dankie. Dis die finansiële state vir die jaar.
Can we give another hand to Mr. David John Groenewald of Fourie Oorberg? Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard in our chairperson's annual report, we have heard about community farmers that we are working with, community farmers who have extended a hand to say, listen, pals, we want to get involved and we want to be part of working together and growing the agricultural economy in our community. It is now my pleasure to call two gentlemen who are representing a good example of what can happen when communities and commercial farmers work together. We're not there where we want to be yet, but we believe it's a possible dream that can be achieved. Let's put our hands together as we welcome on stage Mr. Makosandile Chambu from the Nduli Piggery Company, and he will be accompanied by Mr. Dumsani Nomjana from Langboom Agri. Let's welcome them on stage. We may extend the hand as they come to the stage.
Mandibulisa okokuqala kuwo wonke umuntu olapha ngaphakathi othethayo nguMr Chambu, Makosandile Chambu, ongu-chairman kwi-Nduli Pig Farming.
My name is Makosandile Chambu. As mentioned, I'm a member of the Nduli Farming Group.
Ndijoyine apha ke kuNduli Pig Farming ngo-2017.
I started in 2017.
Ndazimanya nawo ndatsho ke ndalilunga elipheleleyo.
That's when I became a member of the group.
So ngo-2018 ke ndiye ndazama ukuthi masihlale phansi, sahlala phansi baze bandibeka njengo-chairman.
I was elected as chairperson of the group in 2018.
So ngo-2019 ke sesazama ukuqala ngoJanuwari ukuthi masifune abantu amanothi basincede ngokubona imeko esiphansi kwayo malunga ne-pig farming caba ziyafa.
Early 2019, we sat down and we said to ourselves, let's get together with people who can assist us as we were struggling in our piggery business.
So examine kwethu akho ndawo singayihambanga.
We went everywhere seeking for assistance.
Sinqonqoza singaphumi nando.
We were unsuccessful wherever we knocked for assistance.
Ekugqibeleni sesafumana uPels
At the end, when we met with PELS,
ngo2019 nge13 zika May.
mid-2019 in May, we met with PELS.
So uPels ke uye wasamkela.
We were warmly welcomed by PELS,
Satsho sangamalungu kaPels.
and we became members of PELS.
uPels ke uye wahamba nathi
We've been journeying with PELS since 2019,
wasifaka kuminyango ngeminyango.
and through our engagement and being members of PELS, we were introduced to various points of assistance,
Esinceda.
helping us.
But okokuqala sasimbuzile ba usinceda nje yayiwanda yintoni ozayifuna kuthi.
En ek moet ook eerlik wees, aan die begin was ons skepties. In the beginning, we were skeptical as to what it is that's in it for them. Why are they so willing to help us? We didn't trust them.
But uPels akho nto ayifunayo kuthi.
But PELS was very clear that there's nothing they want from us other than assisting us.
Ningekho nto nizayifumana kum ndinguPels.
And PELS made it clear, we're not going to give you any handout. You're going to work and we will assist you.
Into endizawuyenza kukuninceda kule minyango nifuna ukungena kuyo.
Ours is to facilitate for you to grow your business.
Siyeza usahamba ke noPels kakhulu saya nangu-government.
We engaged with government through PELS, rural development in particular,
So wanqonqoza kwavuleka ugovernment unantsula uPels.
and doors opened from rural development.
Kwabonakala uba zikhona into esithenjiswa ngazo.
At this moment, our project is at the level of approval by the department through the interventions of PELS.
Kodwa masifake iparticulars zethu.
We have submitted all documentation required via PELS,
Lo msebenzi ke ngumsebenzi kaPels.
and we've left that for PELS to do on our behalf.
Wasifaka zonke izinto uPels.
As all our documents and submissions have been sent to the department,
Zabuya ke impendulo zisithi samkelekile.
and the feedback that we received was positive that our application has been successful.
Kwashota umasipala.
Now there's only a master left.
Kwathi yi-1 into efunekayo ngoku.
One thing that's still outstanding
Lilungelo lomhlaba kamasipala.
is that we need access to land with secure tenure, and that land is the land we are currently farming on, belonging to the Witzenberg municipality.
Siyasazama ke nakumasipala.
Through PELS, we also engage with the municipality.
Examine kwakhe ke lelabakhona kithemba.
There was some hope,
Kwanyanzeleka into uba ngabadibani council.
at some point there was a council decision made after a meeting of council,
Kwabakho ithemba lithi noko bayasinika umhlaba.
and we have provisionally been informed that the decision has been established that the land that we are currently on will be availed on a long-term lease agreement by the Witzenberg municipality.
Ukudibana kwethu ke noPels ke sesaba nendawo ezininzi namanye amafama esidibana nawo.
Through PELS, we've managed to reach and meet and be introduced to a lot of other farmers
Asifundisa,
who taught us,
asicebisa.
who advised us.
Sathi sadibana noMr Pedro.
And had ons gekry ons mentor, Mr. Trudeau.
Oye wasifundisa kakhulu.
Mr. Trudeau taught us a lot about our pig farming.
Wasicebisa nangamayeza sinothi siwasebenzise kwimfuyo yethu.
As an experienced farmer himself, he taught us about the relevant and the right medicine to use on our livestock.
Ndithetha nje ngoku sikwinqanaba ngokwenothi nakusasa sibe nezinto ezibhadlileyo.
So as we are standing here, our project is at the level that we can get approval to move us to a next level.
Because nomasipala usemnyango ukuthi asinike ngoku isivumelwano.
Through PELS, and also now we have achieved the agreement with the municipality that will be tabled soon.
Eyona nto ke ndizoyitsho namhlanje
What I would love to say in short this morning, in closure,
ndifuna ukubulela uPels
I want to thank PELS.
ukuthi angayeki ukwancedisa amafama abantu abamnyama.
I want to ask PELS not to give up and not to stop helping black farmers.
Because abanye abantu bethu bahamba endleleni basuke bayeka.
Because many of our people walked long journeys but were never assisted like we were.
Because babecinga ukuthi kule ndlela sihambayo noba siyaqhathwa.
And maybe many people who lost hope thought we might be fooled, but now they can see we are going somewhere with Pels.
But imnandi into yokunyamezela.
Copy?
Imandi into yokunyamezela.
But I want to say to our group members, let's endure.
Masinyamezeleni ke.
Let's be persistent.
Danke Pels. Ungayeki lento yenzayo kude kube sekupheleni enkosi.
Thank you, Pels. Keep on doing the good work. Let's give another hand to Mr. Chambu.
Goeiemorgen, good morning, dumelang, bonjour, sanibonani. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All protocol observed. Dumisani Nomjana is my name. Born and bred in this beautiful place called Sierras. I was born here, grew up here. I just went to Cape Town for further studies, but I'm back now, I'm glad. I am the director as well as the chairperson of Langboom Farm. I believe that all the farmers of Witzenberg, you know where the Langboom Farm is situated. We are just not far from Duli, or we are the neighbors of the Dudoits, opposite Crispy, opposite the new development, which is Fredabes. I am still new in this field, but I have gained a lot of experience through the use of the team of Partners Agri and Land Solutions, which is PELS. I would like to say thank you very much, PELS team. I am always amazed the way you are willing to help and share the information, views and advices we need at Langboom Farm. There are things we didn't know and we wanted to know, but with your help, we were able to find them. Thank you. In South Africa, I'm always saying this, we need people like you to help so that there is no shortage of food. Because if you are not helping, if you have an experience but you are not helping those who have the lack of experience, we'll always have the challenge of food, especially in agriculture. It is a very bad thing to see empty, uncultivated farms, but the beneficiaries who were given those farms have the ability and eager to learn, but not enough assistance from the lesser, which is government. I hope our government will see your contributions to South Africa in general and help you, PELS, not to interfere, but to assist. I would like to encourage those farmers who still want to become PELS partners, please do so. Help the needs. Because farming creates opportunities to lift people out of poverty in developing nations. When I was doing my own research, I've noticed that over 60% of the world's working poor works in agriculture. Farming creates more jobs, beginning with farmers and continuing with farm equipment makers, food processing plants, transportation, infrastructure, and manufacturing. To my colleagues, farmers, our world is hungry. Please take care of the world. Please do not give up. In whatever you do, please make sure that you are willing to assist those who are in need. Let me just say on my last statement, thank you and may God bless you with good health and continue with your wonderful caring work. Thank you.
Let's give a warm hand again to Mr. Dumsani Nomjana from Langboom Agri. Siyabulela kuwe Dadu Nomjana noba uchambu. Sakha isizwe esitsha. When we build a new nation, it requires all of us to build together. And thank you this morning that you are coming to give credit to where it's due and to encourage a continuation of working together, which indeed also brings growing together. Siyabulela ngenxaxheba yenu, botata. The same message we want to extend also to community farmers. There are progressive news that we hear that our local government is considering a stance that says land that must be used, that's available. And they've encouraged our small farmers to reach out to PELS so that we can see how we can find workable solutions on municipal land. And that in itself, ladies and gentlemen, is in our view a massive endorsement of what PELS has accomplished. Thank you very much to Witzenberg Municipality for a progressive step that you've taken in availing land. That's what happens when we lead together in the interest of our communities. So I'd like us, please, let's give an applause to our Witzenberg Local Council. All councillors, thank you. We are, ladies and gentlemen, as we know, I woke up this morning in an area where it was pitch black in Woolsley. Now, if you were looking for me, you were going to struggle. I just want to say you were going to struggle. Unless I smiled, of course. You were going to struggle, yes. We are challenged with electricity. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please just welcome our guest speaker this morning, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman. We are looking forward to a very inspiring address. Doc, we heard about the weather on your way from Cape Town, and I've got it on good authority that the gods were not smiling this morning when we heard the news that Cheslin Colby refused a 1 million rand signing to return to the Stormers. So whatever you did in KZN, the gods are not happy. Yeah, if he agreed, promise you the road would have been smooth coming here. Most welcome in our midst, Doc. We have already proceeded with our program, but you're not late. We have been informed about the delay on your way. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, being challenged with electricity in our area, we are forced as the private sector to look for alternative solutions. And being PELS and the members of PELS around this area, if we want to see growth, it is important for us to lead that growth. Therefore, this morning, I'm glad to share with you, somebody will come to the podium and share with us briefly on such an initiative that's seeking alternative energy. And I'm going to call to the front Mr. Rian Swiegers, who's a registered professional engineer in both South Africa and Namibia, Director of SPZ Reinfeld and Sole Director at APEC Consulting Engineers. Let's welcome him on stage.
Good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, as the previous speaker said, I observe all the protocols, so excuse me if I forget anybody. Okay, we were blessed with a lot of positive facts around here today, so I'm just going to turn it around a little bit with the meaning of criticism. The only way to establish the truth is to criticize and to work through the system and to find truth. So I would like to ask everybody around here, when we talk about electricity, we must always observe that Eskom belongs to each and every one of us, that we depend on Eskom for grid-based energy on which our economy runs. So we will never discard or forget about Eskom. Eskom is part of our lives and part of our economy. So from that criticism basis, I think we have to live more positive and looking at Eskom. They are quite a good firm, they are world-class, but they are challenged by certain systems that need to be reviewed. So whatever we do in the electricity business in South Africa, we have to consider that we will always lean on them. So from there on, I'm going to just say where we've started with these three projects. The Witzenberg municipality has been in conversation with Eskom for a long time to upgrade the infrastructure on the distribution side and substations and so on. That is continuing. Eskom has done a lot of work that we can then go forward and build do the upgrades about 400 million rand, which will, in terms of some communications I had with Eskom, we can reduce that and spend it over a longer time. But then we sit with the remaining problem that energy is in short supply in South Africa. So what we have to do is then, as Lennox had said here, that we have to start looking after ourselves also. But we have to do it in a disciplined way. The government has a program, the Renewable Energy Independent Power Producers Program, that regulates all these things. There were some deregulations without regulations, where the President announced certain changes in what we may do and not do, but that could be a little bit destabilizing. So we as SPVR, that the company's solar photovoltaic renewable energy fields, and that's where Enfields come from. The Namibian company that we work with is where we try to do continuous renewable energy generation. So it is all about power storage, energy storage. So you have to create a storage capacity inside a distribution area that can back up the supply from Eskom when it starts to be variable and that we have to go into load shedding. So the idea started with Pieter de Tooy some years ago and a friend who has passed away, Botas Kabor. And from there on, I joined them, and later we decided that PELS is the best platform in the Ceres Valley to approach the energy plan. So initially we looked at a 150 megawatt solar farm energizing a 50 megawatt peak pump storage scheme. So we had to look around for a suitable site for pump storage. Now pump storage is totally site dependent. You cannot go and build it anywhere. You need a mountain with a minimum head or level difference of about 500 meters, and within 2 kilometers from the highest point to the lowest point to be financially feasible. So we looked around. There are a few around, but it's not like on the Witzenberg side of the Bokkenveld. There are areas that's suitable, but it's inaccessible for construction. So eventually, we found a place on Long Acres to the north of, to the east of Nooitgedacht Farm, above Gaido Pass. And then we started looking for solar farm areas. So the initial sites that we checked didn't succeed on in the solar irradiation. So we had to move out to the Droehoek, where the Gibsons accommodated us, and they agreed that we may utilize their land. So eventually, we have got the same problem in the Brede Valley that you've got here, and also in the Dorens, the X-River Valley. And the X-River Valley, people asked us to do the same for them. So eventually, if you look at energy, you have to scale up your project to have economies of scale available. So then I spoke to Pieter and to the PELS people, and we decided to upscale the pump storage to 200 megawatts, and then to upscale the solar farm to 240 megawatts. That's the highest limit that you're allowed in the grid code of the government. So to fully energize the pump storage scheme, the pump storage schemes use use energy to pump water, and then it recovers the energy at about an 80% efficiency rating. So we needed additional energy to do the full energizing of a 200 megawatt pump storage scheme. So we negotiated with some wind farms down at Roomans River, and there will be some newer ones also to the south of Roomans River and Langhoogte on the Caledon side near Bot River. So they will supply then the wind energy that's not coinciding with the solar energy to do pumping in the evenings, and to extend the plant factor. Now, the plant factor is the the percentage of a 24-hour day that you can deliver energy from a certain hybrid power station. So what we are now we are nearly coming to a 24-hour base load system that we can supply energy 24/7 for the whole year to the Ceres Valley, to Hex River, and to the Brede Valley around here. So the question comes on, where do we get the money from? Energy has become a situation in South Africa where people think, it was a money printing business. But competition has come to a point where it's quite risky to enter into it because there are a lot of regulations to follow. But eventually, it is still cheaper to do such a project, finance it totally with debt and equity, and it will still produce energy at a lower rate that Eskom charges the municipalities and the big off-takers at this stage. So the situation in which Eskom sits, we have, as South Africans, we've created ourselves, where they have become, due to a lack of planning, we have built up a backlog, and now we must spend a lot of expensive money to avoid the problems that comes with the lack of planning. So in the Ceres, Witzenberg, Bokkeveld, the Hex River and Brede Valley, we are running against time to have this project completed. It's not easy. It will take some time and some gray hair to finish, but we are pushing. So we've gone through the first environmental scopings, and there were no objections by anybody against the project. So we must now finalize the detailed studies. The botanical study on Guido Peak is the one that creates a lot of stress from the authority side, but that's also going well. It will be completed at the end of spring, and then we will, at March next year, we will sit with the findings, and we will know where we're going to. We will then immediately start the EPC, the engineering, procurement, and construction phase, to try to finish that in around about 24 months. I don't think it's possible, but we are going to push for it. And then at the next AGM of Witzenberg Pels, I think we will be able to give you more information, but the offtake of the energy will be available to the in three different ways. It can either be sold to Eskom, and they resell it back to the municipality and you as off-takers in the valleys, or we can directly sell the energy on a trade platform to the off-takers in the Witzenberg Valley. Now, the municipality is the biggest off-taker, so we will not be able, and I think we must all understand it. The municipality is a reticulator and a reseller. Their level is fixed in the law. So these projects can only sell directly to the municipality, not to the people on the municipal reticulation. So if the municipality wants to purchase power from these projects, they are welcome. So Eskom can purchase power from the projects, and the farmers who are on distribution connections may also purchase power directly. So the trading platform involved will be a complex and a complicated thing, but it will have to tie in with the Eskom way of dealing with energy trade, because they are the sole buyer in the energy realm in South Africa. We don't have a modified system like Namibia has, where you can trade directly. So Eskom will still be the buyer and the seller, but the arrangement, the power purchase agreements, may go between the two projects and the off-taker, but it will also run through Eskom. I'll be here for a few questions if there are any questions. Again, I'm asking for being positive in South Africa is what we need now. I think we are on a good road with you as pals. Partnerships are the spice of life. That is the thing that make us grow. Thank you. Well,
Can we give another hand to Rian Swiggers? Thank you, Rian, for that insightful presentation. Obviously, as pals, we will look forward to being updated so that we can also, through our perspective, also communicate to our members as well as our communities on the progress of such developments. Thank you very much for your contribution in growing the economy of our area. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready in a few minutes for our guest speaker. But before we go there, I would like to ask you to sit back and enjoy a promo video we want to share with you as pals, and we've called it Imagining a Country. And for us, it's a pride moment that we would like to share with you some of the images you will see of people behind the scenes. The Lennoxes are the lot talkers. Doc, there's a lot doers behind the scene. I'm not saying to the board of directors I'm not going to work. I'm just saying there are other people doing more than me. I know some board members are here and they're making notes. I've seen Danelle very seriously making notes. I'm not saying I'm not going to work. We will now get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Pal's video, Imagining a Country.
Imagine a solution for our country where South Africans who believe in a better future are practically enabled to work together. Communities that work together on grassroots level to address service delivery, job creation, and the growth and sustainability of their industries and livelihood. Pulse, or Partners in Agri-Land Solutions, is the enabling organization for these communities. Established in 2015, the Pulse initiative was born out of the need to do something, to create a sustainable future for all our country's people. The key objective is to create an enabling environment to implement innovative land reform and inclusive agricultural growth that supports social harmony.
Dis nie charity nie. Dit gaan oor hoe ons saam as Suid-Afrikaners kan werk om die ekonomie uit te bou en om die hele land meer vooruitstrevend te maak.
Pulse is an inclusive private sector initiative by black and white farmers in cooperation with the community and government. The framework addresses the critical success factors, namely land, skills, capital, markets, dispute resolution, and an exit strategy.
Die besigheidsplan moet goed geïmplementeer kan word. En ek dink deur suksesvolle swart besighede of vennootskappe staan te maak in goeie besighede is een van die maniere hoe ons armoede en ons werkloosheid kan bekamp in ons land.
At grassroots, Pulse is all about people. The essence of Pulse is the fact that its existence is built on partnerships. In the last 5 years, Pulse has implemented more than 40 sustainable agricultural businesses with more than 100 listed developmental enterprises countrywide awaiting implementation.
It's one of those critical factors that make any partnership a success. One, it's building relationships amongst partners. Secondly, it's not to assume that the people with whom you are partnering with have the wherewithal in terms of the agricultural sector and its intricacies.
It has grown to a national organization with Pulse centers in Ceres, Free State, Mpumalanga, and listed projects in all provinces. And it has influenced national policy regarding the enablers and critical success factors for a sustainable agricultural industry.
Pulse is the answer for South Africa. This is the only model that works at this point of time.
The Pulse philosophy should not only apply to agricultural growth, it can be applied to every sector of a country's existence.
The pearls should not only be in farming. You should have those even in politics. The workable solution for us as farmers, for us as a country, for us as a nation, is actually in our hands. Seasoned farmers and new era or emerging farmers working in cooperation.
Pulse is not only about agriculture. Custodianship of the environment, which includes how we treat the earth and other people, is implicit in the Pulse framework for building a better future.
As my kennis eendag hierdie projek self nou vat, dan ek sien die ding sal werk. En dit is my droom daai en ek is trots op hy droom van my.
Ons wil almal 'n beter toekoms bou op die Pulse manier. Sonke sifuna ukwakha ikamva elingcono ngendlela ye-Pulse.
Production team that put together that video. Thank you very much for our partners, Brand Republic, who have made this possible, and also extending the Pulse initiative with good stories being told on other platforms, as Heinrich Jantjies have earlier referred to. This is partnership. One of the great critiques against the agricultural sector is its inability to tell its own stories to a wider audience. And we are grateful to be in partnership with people who help us in spreading our stories of good and hope. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor this morning to introduce to you a great South African, somebody that I believe makes us feel good about being South Africans. Somebody that I believe this morning will inspire us as he drew inspiration that led him to be where he is today. I'm introducing to you Dr. Suleiman Imtiaz Ishmael Suleiman, who was born in Potchefstroom in South Africa's Northwest Province on the 7th of March, 1962. He attended Sastry College in Durban and matriculated in 1978, going on to study medicine at the University of KwaZulu-Natal Medical School, qualifying as a medical doctor in 1984. Dr. Suleiman commenced private practice in Pietermaritzburg in 1986, but he chose to close his flourishing practice in mid-1994, choosing instead to focus his attention on Gift of the Givers Foundation, which he had founded early August 1992. His establishment of Gift of the Givers Foundation was the consequence of a message. Dr. Suleiman was then 30 years old. He received a message from Sufi Sheikh Muhammad Safar Effendi al-Jerai, his spiritual leader in Istanbul, Turkey, who called on him to serve all people of all races, of all religions, of all colors, of all classes, of all political affiliations, and of any geographical location. A calling he honored and continues to honor today. His endeavors in this regard has seen Gift of the Givers Foundation emerge as one of the most respected humanitarian organizations in the world, and is today the largest disaster response agency of African origin anywhere on the continent. Briefly, since 1992, Dr. Suleiman has steered the organization to many notable achievements and world firsts, including implementing 21 different categories of projects, delivering well in excess of 4.5 billion rand of aid, coming to the assistance of millions of people in no fewer than 45 countries across the globe, inclusive of South Africa. Designing and developing in 1993 the first and only containerized mobile hospital of its kind, which was deployed in Bosnia and has been compared by CNN to any of the best hospitals in Europe. Can we please give an applause? We're not done. Designing the world's first containerized primary healthcare unit in 1994. Innovating the world's first groundnut soya high energy and protein supplement, known as Sibusiso Ready Food Supplement in 2004. The supplement has proved ideal for people suffering from conditions of HIV and AIDS, TB, malnutrition, cancer, and other debilitating disorders. Heading the first organization in the history of South Africa to have received 60 million from government for the design and successful rollout of 240,000 food parcels. Alleviating problems associated with a ravaging drought in South Africa by drilling 400 boreholes in just 18 months. Can we just stand still on that one? 400 boreholes in just 18 months. And we are made to believe that it is fair to wait for a water license for 300 days. There's something wrong. South Africans, we can do better. There's an example. It can be done if the will is there. Lastly, rescuing 64-year-old Ina Zizi alive after being trapped under rubble for 8 days without food or water, little oxygen, and a fractured hip in the aftermath of the Haiti earthquake of 2010. This was a world first for an African organization involved in earthquake search and rescue outside Africa. Please join me as we stand and applaud and welcome to the podium our guest speaker, Dr. Imtiaz Ishmael Suleiman.
Thank you for that introduction. My first visit to series. What I'm seeing on the screen now is exactly the way South Africa needs to go. There is no other way to build this country except through partnerships, carrying across race, religion, color, and class, across different sectors of society, and working as one nation. And I'll explain this a little more as I go forward into the intervention. The story starts, everybody wants to know where it started. It started actually in 1985, not in 1992. Gift of the Givers is not my organization. I didn't get up one morning and say, okay, I think today I'll form an organization, give it a name, get some members, write a founding statement, make a constitution, and say I'm going to do number 1 to number 5. This is what we're going to do. It never happened like that. It's got a very spiritual basis. That spirituality started, as I said, in 1985. I was doing internship in King Edward Hospital in Durban, and that year I said, okay, what am I going to do in 1986? And I decided I want to study further. I want to be a specialist in internal medicine. But there were not many opportunities at that time, so I couldn't get a post to study further. I was forced to go into private practice, something that I didn't want to do. Now let's stop here. In life, you get lots of bumps on the road, and you don't get what you want. And people get depressed, they get sad. We need to change the way we do things. We need to change the way we think. You see, when we pray, we don't pray for what we want. We pray for what is good for us. Because what you want may not necessarily be good for you. And you will not know that until the Almighty puts it for you. I have no regrets that I didn't study internal medicine, and I now know why that happened. So in January 86, I moved from Durban to Pietermaritzburg to start private practice. The same week that I got to Maritzburg, an Afrikaner guy from Pretoria moved to Pietermaritzburg also. He had just come in from America, and he came to teach French. Now, I couldn't understand an Afrikaans guy teaching French in the University of Natal. So anyway, my neighbor tells me, you know, this guy came to buy meat and he needs a doctor. And I told him, you're my neighbor and you're a doctor. So anyway, I meet Miller. And we speak. And one day he tells me an incredible story. He says, I was down, like how most South Africans are at the moment. Depressed, lack of hope, not sure which way the country is going. Nothing to worry about, my friends. It's problems we can solve. And he says, I was depressed, and as I was walking through the streets of New York, I saw a big man in the corner. He looked up and he saw me and I saw him. I don't know this man. I've never met him before. But my soul told me to follow this man, so I followed him. And as I followed him, he walked into St. John the Divine, a huge church in New York. This was a Muslim man walking to a church in New York. And as I got inside there, I saw Jewish people, Christians, Hindus, Muslims, and people who say they don't believe in anything. They were all together inside the church. The Turkish man, who's a Sufi master, a spiritual master, then led a zikr. Now, zikr in Islamic terms is a celebration of God's names. In the different scriptures, you will say, God, the one and only, kind, compassionate, merciful, cherisher, nourisher, sustainer, kind, and as you go along. And as he recited it, the Jewish rabbi, the Christian priest, the Hindu pandit, and even those who don't believe, all joined in the celebration of God's names. It was a classical example of unity within religion. It's what we're trying to achieve in this country. Across culture, across farmers, across different traditions, and in different industrial sectors. And it raised a very important point. You see, religion is blamed for crisis all over the world. We are told that religion caused this war, and religion caused that war, and religion caused that war. Religion hasn't caused any war. It's the adherents of religion who lose the path that caused the war, not the religion itself. You see, lawyers do malpractice. So do we say the legal profession is bad? When doctors do malpractice, do we say the medical profession is bad? When we say government is corrupt, does it mean we should stop having state institutions? No. These are all titles. They are made up of individuals. The individuals is the problem, not the system. And that's what we've got to change. So let's fast forward a little bit from the church. So in 1986, again I'm treating Miller. And one day he tells me, now you need to go to Istanbul. So I said, hey Miller, it's 86, I haven't even seen Cape Town yet. When am I going to see Istanbul? He says something very profound. He said, what God wills happens. There's a time and a place. And the time and place happened. I went in 1991. It's a long story. But I landed in Turkey in 1991 with my wife. It was post-Gulf War. And remember, the Gulf War polarized civilizations and nations. The perception were Jews and Christians on one side, Muslims on the other side. East on one side, West on the other side. And Samuel Huntington that time spoke of the clash of civilizations. And coming from an apartheid past didn't help at all. So we walk into the spiritual Sufi place in Turkey. This is where the master that he met in America came from. But that master passed away in 1985, the year before I met Miller. But Miller said, by the spiritual order, the next one takes over. What Miller described in St. John the Divine, I saw with my own eyes. Except this time it wasn't in church, it was in the Sufi place in Istanbul. Christian, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Tamils, people who say don't believe, all in a Muslim holy place. Americans, Russians, Europeans, Australians, New Zealand, Brazil, Argentina, Africa, all in a Muslim holy place. Now this is post-Gulf War. And I'm expecting to be some kind of friction. No friction. No discord. No fighting. Just understanding and respecting each other. Very much what we need in this country and in the world. The next spiritual thing happened. I make contact with a spiritual teacher in the same way that Mullah saw the teacher in the street. I don't know this man, I've never met him. I know from Mullah there's this man, you must come and see him. I make eye contact with him. Now normally when you come, like I came here, the guy meets you at the front door. Hello, thank you very much for coming. How's your journey? Yes, have a coffee, have this, have that. That's what people do when you go as a guest. None of that's above. The teacher looked me in the eye and he said, what do you see? He read my soul because he knew I was wondering how come all different people of different religions are in a Muslim holy place. I said, teacher, I am confused because we've had war with all these people all over the world. And he said, my son, you see right. There's all kind of people here. And then he explains what Mullah saw in the church, how the church elders respected other religions, how they allow other religions to use the church. He explained that now. He said, mankind is one single nation. The God of all mankind is one. We just call him by different names. He said, any imam, priest, rabbi, sheikh, Sufi, pandit, who promotes violence, extremism, terrorism, discord, or disorder is not a man of God. Don't follow him. Anybody who preaches love, kindness, compassion, and mercy is a man of God. Follow him. Ordinary man in the field, an ordinary laborer, an ordinary farmer. If he teaches love, kindness, and compassion, he doesn't have to be standing in a church or a mosque or a synagogue. If he loves it, preaches and lives it, he's a man of God. Follow him because he's your greatest teacher. I saw that when I left. In 1992, the spirit started rising. I needed to go back there. 6 August 1992, I was 30 years old. Thursday night, 10 p.m. Again, the zikr took place. At 10 p.m., the spiritual teacher makes eye contact with me from that side of the room, and I'm on this side of the room, and he looks heavenwards at the same time. In fluent Turkish, and I don't speak a word of Turkish, but I understood every single word in Turkish that he said. He said, my son, I'm not asking you, I'm instructing you to form an organization. The name in Arabic will be Waqful Waqifin. Translated, it means gift of the givers. You will serve all people, of all races, all religions, all colors, all classes, all cultures, of any geographical location and of any political affiliation, but you will serve them unconditionally. You will expect nothing in return, not even a thank you. In fact, in what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, expect to get a kick up your back. If you don't get a kick up your back, regard it as a bonus. Serve people with love, kindness, compassion, and mercy. And remember, the dignity of man is foremost. Stop here again. South African people need dignity. To save this country, it's not about hunger. It's not about economic class. It's about dignity. When you lose dignity, you lose everything. And when you have no hope, you can destroy everything. Our focus has to be on bringing dignity back to the people of this country in every single way that we operate. Clothe the naked, feed the hungry, provide water to the thirsty. And in everything that you do, be the best that you do. Not because of ego. If anything destroys society, industry, religion, people, it's ego. Not because of ego. Ego is destructive. But because you're dealing with human life, human emotion, human suffering, and human being and human life. Caress the head of an orphan. Say words of good counsel to a widow. Wipe the tear of a grieving child. These things are free. They don't cost anything. He repeats, this is an instruction for you for the rest of your life. And then the spiritual message comes again. He says, my son, remember that whatever you do is done through you and not by you. Don't ever forget that. For 30 years, I'm a living witness that the kind of things that you people think that I do is not humanly possible. How to know where to meet, what to do next. Everything falls into place. I mean, let's take a classical example. The African people are here. You guys know we helped Yolanda Koki. We took her out from Al-Qaeda without paying a cent in ransom. We're not hostage negotiators. We didn't train a course. We didn't go for training anywhere. But we took her out in 5 days. We took her out in 5 days, not paying a cent of money. How does that happen? So I asked the teacher. I said, first of all, you spoke in Turkish, and I understood, and I don't understand Turkish. How is that possible? He said, my son, when the hearts connect and the souls connect, the words become understandable. So I said, now, there's another problem. So he said, what's the problem? I said, you see, I'm a doctor in private practice. I got 3 surgeries in a place called Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. What do you actually want me to do? And when do I do this? After hours, public holidays, long weekends, school holidays? He just looked at me and said, "You will know." For 30 years, I do know. Like how we dealt with hostage situations, how to get into earthquake, how to deal with crisis every way. I just know how to do it. It comes in every single way, and everything happens because it comes through you and not by you. So he tells me that. And the moment I walked out of that place on the 6th of August, the same night, it came to me. Respond to the civil war in Bosnia. The same month, not even 3 months later, the same month, we took in 32 containers of aid into a war zone. 3 months later, another 8 containers of winter items. The chill factor in Eastern Europe in winter is minus 21 degrees. And then the following year, 93, sitting with an Afrikaner company in Pretoria, we designed the world's first containerized mobile hospital. Now that meeting was so significant, sorry I'm a very blunt guy, was very significant. I would have never worked with Afrikaners, I would have never worked with white people, and I would never worked with Christians because of what happened in apartheid. We lost our land, we lost our homes, we lost everything. But teachers showed you don't put everybody in the same box. You don't identify everybody and class everybody in the same way. You look at a human being, not as a race, not as a color, not as a religion. Every human being got his issues in every way. Don't condemn an entire community, an entire country, an entire civilization. And when my mind opened up, it was an Afrikaner people. And you guys know it, you see the trucks on the road every day. Afrit, the trailer people, from the Vietnamese engineering. And I met Johan and Gert from the Vietnamese for the first time. And I told him, I can't guarantee you I'll be able to pay you. A Christian guy, a white guy, Afrikaner guy said, if you can't pay me, it's my gift to the people of Bosnia. And I understood then there's goodness in all people. And we sat together and we designed the world's first containerized mobile hospital. A product of South African technology taken from Africa into Europe. How many South Africans believe in themselves? How many of you believe in yourselves? Do we always have to look to the north for answers? What is our greatest export? Not gold and diamonds. It's people, accountants, teachers, doctors, nurses. The world wants us, only we don't understand our own value. We need to understand our own value and our capacity and our capability. So we took this hospital to Bosnia. And the government gave me the SAS Otanikwa to take the ship across that time. When the CNN commentator filmed the hospital, he said the South African containerized mobile hospital is equal to any of the best hospitals in Europe. Just one more example. In 2010, we made world history, as mentioned in the introduction. We pull out a 64-year-old Enazizi alive in a collapsed Catholic church. 8 days, no oxygen, no food, no water, fractured hip. And our teams, for the first time ever in the history of the continent, an African team has taken anybody out of the rubble alive in an earthquake outside the continent. The team leaders were Mani Gous and Ahmed Bam. Our teams are completely mixed. There's no issue with race and religion. You go as a human being, and you go representing your country and your continent. The final point about international stuff before I move into the local things. In disasters, some people bring food, blankets, tents, medicines, bottled water, hygiene packs, and disinfectants. Some people come with primary healthcare teams. Some come with trauma teams, meaning orthopedic surgeon, general surgeon, vascular surgeon, neurosurgeon, theater nurse, ICU nurse, paramedics. Some people come with post-op rehab, spinal rehab specialists. People who have fractured their spines, make them walk. Some people come with trauma counselors. Some people build hospitals. Some people bring hospital equipment and medication. Some people help in bringing helicopters. Some people bring medical equipment. Some people bring search and rescue equipment. Some people bring search and rescue teams. Some people bring sniffer dogs. We're the only team in the world that does all of the above. Nobody else in the world does that. We're the only team in the world, and we are all South African. Proud to be a South African country, a South African nation. We go wherever we go, we make a mark. We can get off the plane and put up an ICU and a theater on the runway of the airport. In Somalia, we set up an entire hospital in 3 hours, including ICU, theater, gynae facilities, and oxygen in 3 hours. So let's fast forward to truth. If we can do this outside, why can't we do this inside? It's about not skills. Yes, there's a shortage of skills right now. There's a shortage of experience, but we need a mindset change. Stop being afraid and say, I need to leave this country. Europeans are going to come here. The Rhine River is dried out. 25 million people in London are going to be short of water. The French health system is collapsing. There's no energy, there's an energy crisis in Europe. Germany may only have 1 hour of electricity a day. ESCOM going to celebrate. They give us more than that. People are not, and the most important thing, South Africans are social human beings. COVID killed you, not because of death, because you couldn't mix with people. You guys like dry fleece, and you like to climb the mountain, and go sit in the desert. I went to Sutherland, and I saw all these bed and breakfasts. So I said to the lady, what do they come here for? She said the open field. I said, are you guys crazy? Who else going to sit here for 7 days? They said, no, the people come to sit here for 7 days. And I said, do nothing. They said, just sit in the open area. I said, no, the African people are a little mad in this country. And it's that kind of stuff. Europe is in big trouble. There's an energy crisis. We got all the solutions. We can fix this country. And as I go along, I'll explain to you how. So, 2016, I'm taking a conscious decision. No more marketing for international projects. Because the media only like to focus on international stuff. They don't show the country what we're doing locally. So I kill the marketing, not the projects. Projects are 5 times its size now. So 2017, the first test comes. A test of seeing how South Africans can work together and follow this point to show how we as a nation have survived everything. So the fire comes in Knysna, June 2017. It's a big fire. And people with 4x4s don't wait for government. You see, let me make that point clear now. I make it very clear to government. This country does not belong to the government. It belongs to me and to you and 65 million South Africans. So we take ownership when it comes to life-saving, when it comes to healing, when it comes to progress and prosperity. We don't wait for anybody. So the guys took the 4x4s, didn't wait for the emergency people, didn't wait for the municipality. If they waited, people would have died. When it comes to saving lives, you don't follow rules. You just save lives. Because every scripture tells us, he who saves one life saves the whole of mankind. That's a spiritual instruction. So the guys took the 4x4s, drove along the beach, and took the people out and saved them from the fires, and took them out. ShopRite Checkers gave us the car park. We sent in 2 ladies to project manage. The 2 ladies with the CEOs and the big people from all the different companies in Knysna got together and arranged 20,000 food parcels. People came with the buckies and took this from them because superlinks can't go inside into a car park. So superlinks dropped outside. All the people came with the buckies, forklift onto the bucky, into the car park, offload, parcel, back on the bucky, and distribute. Food parcels, blankets, hygiene packs, sanitary pads, everything was given out. We sent in our own firefighters. People start seeing the capability of Gift of the Givers. We supported 1,200 firefighters twice a day with liquids, energy bars, and meals. Then we sent in a specialized and advanced life support ambulance, with advanced life support paramedics. We sent in specialist medical teams, who even did deliveries of babies, who helped move the patients from Knysna to other hospitals. And then whilst we're doing that, somebody comes and tells me, what about the cat and the dog? So I said, what about the cat and the dog? They said, they're hungry. I said, oh. So I arranged 30 tons of cat food and pet food and dog food for the animals. Then somebody comes and says, but you know why the fire was so big? The fire was so big because there's a drought in Knysna. So I said, then now what am I supposed to do? They said, what about the cattle and the sheep and the pigs and the horses? So I said, anything else? Yes, the animals in the wild and the elephant in the park. The teacher said, you take care of human and you take care of creation. We made arrangements for fodder for all these categories. And there our fodder project started to help farmers like you. Grafting net, the whole of Northern Cape, Southern Cape, everywhere where the drought was coming, we sent in close to 300 million rand of fodder. 160 trained coaches of fodder, more than 400 truckloads of fodder to various parts of the country. Grafting net, Northern Cape, were our biggest recipients. Parts of Eastern Transkei, and we rolled out from 2017. Because whilst we were doing that project, somebody came and said, Sutherland is in trouble. The animal sheep, the prize merino sheep is dropping from 440,000 to 400,000 to 350,000 to 300,000. The animals are dying. and we can't save them. So we sent in the fodder. Part of the 400 bowls that was spoken about in June 2018, the call came from the farmers in Sutherland again to say now, not the fodder can't help because all the bowls have dried out. There's no more water. We sent in our teams and we drilled 238 boreholes at our cost, to make sure we can save the farmers. Because when farmers succeed, the farm workers succeed. When farm workers succeed, their families succeed. When the families succeed, the local economy succeeds. When the local economy succeeds, the country succeeds. We need to understand we are all interrelated in this chain. January 2022, the sheep count finally dropped to 31,000 from 440,000. You see, we are all equally affected. The farmers, they said, when you bring a food parcel for the farm worker, can you please bring a food parcel for me and my family? We have nothing to eat. Our cards are maxed. The corporates don't give us any more credit. The banks are not giving us any more finance. We can't go anywhere. And even we can't come with a bakkie to fetch the fodder because there's no money to put fuel in the bakkie. So we brought the trucks right to where they are. And white farmers helped black farmers and colored farmers. Everybody helped each other. They formed one united South Africa. The country that we need. When we get hardship and difficulty, that's when we stand together. But we need to extend it beyond that time only and to go further. So the drought came. In 2018, we got involved, and in January this year, Sybil and Jan Versaghi were the two farmers who worked with me in Calvinia. And they bought this machine that you make pellets, and you make the fortified food for the sheep. And you put in molasses and maize and lucerne, and you make it enriched, and with the balance of the hay that comes from everywhere. They were supplying at low price this pellets to the farmers. She calls me, and for the first time from January, the sheep count started rising, and the farmers were starting to employ farm workers again. 3 weeks ago, she phones and she's crying. She says the Ukraine war has caused a big problem. The fuel price, the maize price, the inflation, the transport cost. We can't hold the price anymore. Eskom's load shedding has destroyed our machine. 178,000 rand to repair the machine. We can't fix it. And the moment we put the price up by 5 rand, 65% of farmers, black, white, and colored, are going to collapse. And the economic downfall with that, and the social difficulty with that. I said, we will subsidize it. I sent it the first 300,000. I said, you want another 300,000? If you need another 300,000, we will subsidize it. Because all these people are our family. They're all our friends. They're all our community. They're all our country. We need to save every single one we can save. 2018, day zero in Cape Town. 2019, we got involved. 2019, the drought in Makanda. 2020, there's a mind shift change in corporates. And that's why I know we can fix this country. When corporate South Africa phones you after hours, not to make money, but to give you money, things are changing. In the floods of 2022, April 11, Tuesday, Monday night, corporates called us 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. I'm expecting people to phone me to say, I need a boat, and I need a lifesaver, and I need to be saved, and the water's up to my roof, and you help me, and the roads are blocked. Not one call like that. The only calls I got was from corporates, how much money do you need? I said, you guys are working after hours to give money away? You can't be feeling well. They said, no, these are our people. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa has got the will, we've got the skill, we've got the spirituality, and we've got the know-how. We can fix this country. Nothing is difficult. You see, to be fair to government, 7 million people's taxes can't look after 65 million people. It's impossible. So whether it was the Americans, the Germans, the Australians, or the Canadians running this country, they're all going to have the same problem. 7 million people's taxes can't look after 65 million people. It's impossible. And then COVID didn't eat the whole budget. It ate the entire budget of the country. Yes, we have corruption. That we've got to fix up. But in everything else, we need to hold hands and stand together and go forward. We need to bring back cotton farming. The corporates destroyed cotton farming because of cheap imports from China. We need to bring back cotton farming. That's job creation. Supporting local textiles, that's job creation. The leather industry in Maritzburg, where I come from, collapsed. That's job creation. Construction industry, there's job creation. We need labor-intensive projects. because that will bring circulation of money down into the ground, into the communities, in the small centers, and the wider economy. We need projects like that. And what I see on the screen very much impresses me. It means you guys are going the right way. And talking about energy, you see, I have a system. Like right now, we're busy in Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. The municipality called us. They're on day 0, and we're providing alternative sources of water. We've drilled 30 boreholes in 6 weeks. We've already added 12 million liters of water to the grid. And with Seribos giving us 500,000 liters of water a day with a desalination plant, we've already saved 4 hospitals, several schools, several communities, and we're working with the municipality. They're putting up the sites, we're bringing the JoJo tanks. But all South Africans have come forward. One company said, I'll give you the tanks. Coke said, we'll give you the water tankers. Redefine Properties in Cape Town gave us another 2 tankers. Everybody's doing something. Aspen, VW said, we'll fix the leaks. We're not waiting for municipality. We need to do it ourselves. I'll give you one last example of what we need to do ourselves and why we need to do it ourselves. During the height of COVID, during the beta wave, when people were dying here and everywhere else from lack of oxygen, you look at the person, he's smiling, and next one, boom, drops dead in front of you. Drops dead in the car, in the ambulance, in the house, in the casualty, on the streets. And the nurses were totally demoralized. They're talking to the patient. They're smiling. They turn around to collect the food. They turn around, and the patient is dead. And they couldn't understand what was going on. We had a shortage of oxygen delivery devices because America, Europe, and China were eating the machines themselves. We couldn't use ventilators because there's not enough beds in ICU. And in any case, the ventilator wasn't successful. Most people on it didn't survive. 6% survived on the ventilator. We needed an oxygen delivery device, something different. To the credit of the government, Ibrahim Patel, Minister of Trade and Industry, said, we need to make our own oxygen device. To the credit of South African engineers and the SKA guys, they got together and they designed the CPAP machine, an oxygen delivery device that uses 10 liters to 30 liters of oxygen, compared to the high-flow machine, which uses 60 liters to 100 liters, because oxygen was another big problem to get. So we needed a device that does low oxygen, yet the same effect. So they designed the CPAP machine. CSIR, a government agency, manufactured 20,000. SAPRA, the government agency, approved it for medical use. Solidarity Fund, a government agency, paid 250 million for it. So Professor Justin Jonas from Grahamstown, from Rhodes University, calls me, and he says, we've got a problem. So I said, Professor, what's the problem? You got the machines. He said, we are being blocked by somebody in government to deliver these machines. We cannot allow this. I said, give me those machines. I delivered 900 in 48 hours to hospitals all over Eastern Cape and Western Cape. Monday morning from Kala Hospital, the CEO calls Ali. He's laughing on the phone. Nobody laughed during COVID. So we asked, what happened to you? He said, every Monday morning, me and my staff have the morbid job of counting the dead people in our wards. For the first time, that South African machine, designed by South African engineers, delivered to South African hospitals, saved the lives of every single person in that ward. We made those machines available free to the private health sector too. It didn't matter they were private or public. We needed to save South African lives, and that's what we did. And the last point that worries everyone. See, 2021 was not an insurrection. If anything, it proved how stable South Africa is. It's the way you look at it. What is an insurrection? You attack the government, the defense force, the military, the police, the union buildings, and parliament. Please show me which insurrection in the world you attack a shopping mall that can't even fight back. And we went to the shopping mall. 2-year-old child, old lady with a walking stick, young people, old people. They were not violent. They were not aggressive. They were not rioting. Somebody instigated them to go to the mall. That's all that happened. They didn't burn anything. It's the people that came behind them that burned something. And the people worse were the people who gave the instructions. So we as South Africans should not allow anybody to separate us, to divide us, to destroy us. Those people I call anti-patriots and traitors. We will not allow those traitors and anti-patriots to take over this country because it belongs to me and to you and to 65 million people. And we proved it. We stopped them. Black, white, Indian, and colored, and even foreign nationals stood together and made sure you will destroy nothing else. The people who took it were not dangerous. They were not harmful. They smiled to you as they walked in the streets. the guys behind them we're going to watch out for. And don't allow that. And you know who did a major role who helped that? The people you hate the most. Taxi drivers. The taxi drivers stopped it. They came forward and they stood up and said, we will not allow this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great country. It's the best country in the world. It's got crazy people. And finally, like the Afrikaner guys who sat in Sutherland for 7 days, I don't know what the hell they do there. This government, you know, to be fair to government, everybody in government is not corrupt. There's a lot of good people in government, in municipalities who want to do the right things. Skill shortage, experience, and finance is the problem. Now we have that, look, Solidarity made 300 engineers available to help ESCOM. It's right. ESCOM is ours. It belongs to us. It provides electricity. It doesn't belong to the government. We need to move that narrative. Everything in this country belongs to us. If we're going to allow it to fall apart, we're going to suffer. People say, why do government job? Why do I do it? Because am I going to wait for a child to get water in 7 days or 15 days or 40 days and suffer and say it's the government's job? No, it's my job. As religious people, as spiritual people, we help every human being. That's what we do. And one day, with prayer and the right attitude, the systems will come right. Carry on with the farming. Let's get off the grid. Our own solar panels, our own wind farms. I call it taking everybody off the grid. Once you're off the grid, we'll make up for the 6,000 megawatts, but the long term, we're going to need 20,000 megawatts. And that's what you've got to plan for in the future. Everything where we can intervene, use your skill. Teachers come back, doctors come back, engineers come back, accountants come back. Let's educate, let's give skills, let's help each other, teach farming methods, how to be more conservative, how to get better yields. Let's share. When you share, you actually benefit more than you give. Thank you very much.
Can we please give another round of applause to our guest speaker, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman. Doc, I don't know where to start, but I want to take one later part of what you said, and there's going to be an official vote of thanks being done. Thank you for being here today and leaving us so inspired. When you speak about patriotism, and I'm asking myself what's not to love about this country. My act of patriotism this afternoon will be, God willing, if I get a copy of this recorded meeting, I will share as widely as I can. That will be my small act of patriotism. Thank you. To do the official vote of thanks on behalf of the PELS Board of Directors and the PELS members, please let's warmly welcome to the podium PELS member and board member Georgina Hewitt.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is my great privilege to do the acknowledgements today. On behalf of the directors of Witzenberg PELS, I would like to thank everybody that took the time out of their busy schedules to be here today. I know it's a busy time of year for everyone planning and getting ready for our next season, so we are very happy to see so many faces here today. I'd also like to thank everybody who took the time to tune in virtually. I would like to say a special word of thanks to Lennox, to Gerrit, and the team from Joubert van Vieren for all the arrangements they did to make today possible. Especially you, Lennox, who made sure that we stayed on time and that today ran smoothly. I'd like to especially thank our sponsors, FNB, to Arno and Charlie and the rest of the team that are here present today. Without your continued support, it would not be possible for Witzenberg PELS to continue doing the work that we do, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for that continued support. To the ladies who did the catering, thank you very much for the delicious refreshments that we got to enjoy when we arrived here today. A warm cup of soup really warmed us all on this cold and rainy day in Ceres. To the communications team, thank you for making sure that everything ran smoothly, and especially for making sure that those that joined virtually could clearly hear and join us in today's activities. To the members of the press that are here to cover the story and to make sure that PALS continues to be spread, that the news of PALS continues to be spread widely, thank you very much. To Claude Pretorius for opening the day so beautifully with the words of Koos Kombuis, we thank you. To Heinrich Jantjies, thank you so much for the annual review, and also a special word of thanks for your leadership at Witzenberg PALS and also for the role that you will now play at SA PALS. We really appreciate everything you do for us. To Fourie Obach de Bruin, our auditors, thank you for the professional service that you provide us, and thank you for also to David John Groenewald, who was here today to go through the numbers with us. To the Nduli farmers, Mr. Chambo and Mr. Nunyama, thank you so much for sharing your experiences today. We hope that this will be the start of breaking down some of the historic mistrust between the local communities, organized agriculture, and Witzenberg PALS. So success stories like yours gives us renewed energy for future projects. To Mr. Rian Swiggers, thank you for giving us the feedback on the stance of the Gaidu Solar and Pump Storage Project. When it comes to energy in South Africa, it is easy to become disheartened. Thank you for showing us that there is light at the end of the tunnel. We are excited about the future growth of Witzenberg area when we have a sustainable energy source. To Dr. Suleiman, last but certainly not least, our guest speaker, thank you for making the time to be here today, for sharing your life story with us. It's so easy for us to get strangled in all the reasons why things can't work, that we forget that when we believe, when we come together, when we grow together, and especially when we do together, anything is possible. I believe that your talk today certainly planted the seeds for the mindset change we need. I will certainly be changing my nightly prayers from asking for what I want to what I need. Thank you for being true to your calling. You are a real inspiration to all of us here today. We'd like to present you with a small gift in thanks, and I'd like everyone to get up again and give him a big round of applause.
Yes, we'll take a picture. Come, Jyoti.
You want one for your banner?
Yes, it can be. I need to come on a in the middle, Georgina. Yes. Careful. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Very much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, can we give a lekker hand for Georgina Hewitt? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for enduring our program this morning. You've made this program. Kumntu onke wazinika ithuba lokuthi abe lapha kunye nathi siyabulela ngobukho benu nenxaxheba yonke enithathileyo. Dis een van daai goed voel oomblikke, Dok. Thank you that you've contributed to making us feel good about ourselves as South Africans. And I sincerely hope that it remains with us every day. We've got so much to offer. We need to start feeling good about ourselves in how we think and what we speak and in what we do on a daily basis. We all have the privilege, and I regard this as an absolute privilege, to live in this country. There's no other country I will choose. And I thank God it's at the bottom because I don't want to go anywhere else. Thank you very much, Doc, for your contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not done yet. We opened with a lovely prayer, and now this afternoon we are closing, and we have another beautiful teacher who will lead us in the rendition of the National Anthem. Thereafter, we are pleased asking you not to leave. Doc did not come to me. Although I am the one who sent the email, Doc Suleiman did not come to me. I'm not bragging, Lisa, I'm just telling the truth. But what I'm saying is Doc will be available for a couple of pictures and perhaps a few handshakes, and maybe some who just want to talk to Doc. So we've created some space just outside. We will have some pictures. So for now, it is my pleasure to call the lead singer for the Singers of God Arts Development Choir. She's also a teacher at Inglingazetu High School. Let's put our hands together and welcome to the front, Miss Olwethu Saula. We may all stand, may you all stand for the National Anthem. Siyabulele. Light the mic. Yena sis. Here. Tat. Let's give a round to Ms. Oza Saula. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our program. Thank you very much for all's contribution. We are serving a light lunch, and we'll have a photo session, and maybe we can talk about what we can also continue now as volunteers of our beautiful community to do. Let's have a moment of just networking with each other outside. Thank you very much, and may God bless you for the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.